You got some. What?
So I said, pumpkin.
So I says
I
to
hardly
Mabel.
know
I
him.
says.
Yeah. So I says to Mabel, I says,
Oh, Simpsons jokes. Hello and good morning, everybody.
hey, hi, hello.
Hey,
good
hi
morning.
and hello. I'm back.
You're
I missed
back.
last week, but I'm back and I'm
I
moved.
missed last week too.
Look, it's early morning. Where's my hand in the frame? Here. This is my new
Yes.
house. This one.
It's exactly what it looks like.
This one
And
right
I'm
here.
totally not seeing something different from our audience.
I mean, if you just look at the preview I'm sending.
Like, oh,
Panic.
that's a much nicer place than what I see.
Oh man, hello and good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Casual Morning Show. I'm your host, Mike Pitts, and I hope you've had at least one cup of coffee today so far. With me today, it's a twofer. It's me and my boy Ray. We're here
That's
to bring
super.
you a bright start to your weekend. Disregard the tired eyes and maybe grumpy faces that you see in front of you, because we're some of the most positive, upbeat people that you're going to see on a weekend morning. Or your
Yes.
money back. Fun fact, you didn't spend any money to be here, so I won't refund you. With that
So much
being
easier.
said, Ray,
Yo, hey,
Raymond, tell me what
Michael Pitts.
is good and fantastic and going on in the world. Give me some good
In the
news, brother.
world? Well, I managed to put both feet on the floor this morning when I woke up.
Woo.
Yeah, pretty good.
Damn. You don't
Any
gotta
day that
make
you can start
everything
off with
so
2 feet.
fancy, dude. So fancy.
I know. You know what the crazy part is?
The-
I'm also wearing slippers.
Dude,
That's-
honestly, I saw you when you were walking back to your
Yeah.
desk, and I was really wondering if you were doing like the dude thing. 'Cause you got like the shorts on, the big rub. I was like,
Yeah.
oh.
I mean, not on purpose, but I'm 36 and comfortable.
Dude, 100%.
But that's the thing, though, is that like I get it now.
Yeah. You see
Like-
that, and you're like, that doesn't seem ridiculous. That seems like he's
Like,
living his best life.
Yeah, maybe I'm not going to go out and conduct business or solve a murder
Right.
in my house coat.
Yeah.
But for around the house, hell yeah, slippers, shorts, and a house
Hell
coat.
yeah, dude.
Cup of coffee. Definitely no alcohol in this.
Oh. They don't.
There
It's
isn't.
not allowed, so you can't.
But you know what? I will start things off with a little ray of joy.
Let's
a little
do it.
ray of
I
sunshine.
see what
if
you
you will.
did there, Ray.
So, very simply, NASA has been sharing images of the sun smiling. Yeah, so basically, it's just like mass coronal ejections from the sun.
Oh my god, that's amazing.
Yeah, but what are they called? Coronal holes, right? Where
Yeah.
it's like solar wind is gushing out into space. But this image makes the sun look like a vast smiley face. Or yeah, or a lot of people have been saying it kind of looks like the sun from the Teletubbies.
I
which-
was literally, that was absolutely the joke I was gonna make. Be like, so the Teletubbies were right all along, is what you're saying.
Exactly. Yeah, it's the first thing I thought of too. But it's just this very joyous looking sun, and it just shows that like humans, we can't help but project faces onto things, and we want to relate to everything.
Oh yeah,
And I want to pinch the sun's cheeks
you do.
right
Absolutely.
now. It's very cute. So
One thing I
a
do
little
want to
ray
say.
of sunshine to start.
No, I love it, dude. Sorry, one thing I just
Yeah.
want to say really quick
Yeah.
is for anybody who's watching at home, if you do want to see the links to the stuff that we're talking about, we do post them in our Discord. I put a link to our Discord in the chat, so feel free to jump into that and you'll see all the stuff come through. Because the smiling
Beautiful.
sun face is a happy one, but like it's kind of partially terrifying.
It is in
like-
the way that spatial anomalies with faces.
Yeah, like he looks like he knows he can destroy us. He's like,
Yeah, it is the gleeful face of an all-powerful being that could wipe us out,
yeah, absolutely.
thus worshipping the sun god Ra.
But that is incredible. I love that. Gosh, I got a follow-up Happy Sun. Jesus.
Yeah, I softballed that in there, man.
Okay, well, if you need to, fight against the Happy Sun, why not use animals? Not to actually fight the sun, that wouldn't work. But I do have a happy animal story. So they're actually a pride of lions that were rescued recently from the Ukraine.
Okay.
It's being called the biggest war zone rescue of lions that's ever taken place. So obviously, everything going down in the Ukraine. This was in one of their zoos, I believe, where it was just the conflict was getting too close. So they went and they airlifted a bunch of these lions and brought them to Colorado. So they're now in the Wild Animal Sanctuary in Colorado, where they're now safe. So the lions are good. The lions are safe. And that just makes me happy because the animals aren't trying to fight nobody. Well, I mean,
I'm just saying we could have had Ukraine's first lion-based cavalry force, but I respect the decision to not force animals into that situation. And now they're in Colorado where they can escape and fuel future rumors of man, bear, pig, lion.
That's too many. You can't hybrid that much, dude. I think there's a limit. You gotta keep
man, bear, pig, and lion DNA just won't splice, is what you're saying?
Probably not.
Yeah.
One of my favorite facts. Sorry, this is such a weird thought. I remember learning in like grade 10 science that first of all that ligers are real. Second of all, that the name of like a lion tiger crossbreed depends on which one is male, because there's ligers and then there's Tiglians. And I
forgot that there's Tiglians.
That's right. And it's such a ridiculous name. You know what I mean? It's like that. There's nothing scary about a Tiglian,
no,
by name only. But I'm sure that
until
that
it's got its claws in you,
Yeah.
I have to assume, like, obviously that's the colloquial name, and that they do have their own sort of like Latin Kingdom Mammalia name, but Tiglion. But what other name do you need?
Find it, liger and wait, what? Oh, might just be Tigon. Worse. Well,
Tigian?
I was lied to.
Oh well.
Yeah, it's like it. Yeah, there's ligers and Tigons. One thing I do know, or you know what? Now I don't trust this science teacher, because the other thing he told us is that you couldn't mate those two things because, like, they're not able to reproduce. But maybe they are. Maybe there's
that's an interesting
thought. A whole hybrid society of lions and tigers out there,
like mutant lions and tigers.
Yeah.
There's a secret society out there.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they're really like mutant. Like, you just get like a lion that has a big mane but also stripes. I don't think it's that. It's not cool. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like jumping through portals to get at you or anything. That'd be kind of sweet. That's the mutation that I want to see in a tiger.
Listen, the last thing that Earth needs right now is displacer beasts.
Fair. Oh, that is actually what that is. It's a good point. I didn't connect those dots, but yeah, okay. We can't have the Feywild here. That's fair.
Not yet. Look, with the way things are going in the world at large, I've read enough fiction to know that eventually one of the opposing forces is going to summon something from beyond the veil, and then we get Hellboy. We're basically...
Is Hellboy from Malifaux? Is that how that happened? Oh.
No, but he was summoned through a portal to hell. Fair. Right? I'm just saying, it's either going to be Malifaux or Hellboy.
Are we getting like Ron Perlman though, or are we getting David
he's
Harbour?
Old as hell.
So?
I mean, I would hope we get the Ron Perlman version, because David Harbour version was just a little boring.
And I honestly, I would agree, actually, because I couldn't get through that movie.
Yeah, it was. I watched it out of love.
Fair.
But yeah, didn't
That's the thing too. Like, I love David Harbour. He's fantastic. Yeah. He's great.
He's a great actor.
Yeah.
The movie was just poorly written and very bland.
Fair. Yeah.
That's it. Yeah. Just didn't have the charm. That being said, though, I'm super happy that those animals are safe.
Me too, because I love animals.
Hey, welcome to the Casual Morning Show, where we go on coffee field tangents.
We do. That is going to happen a lot, especially when it's down to just me and Ray.
Yes, 100%. Yeah. We are some of the most tangential people I know.
That's very true. I was explaining, one of Danielle's friends came over yesterday. And it was like one of her old neighbors. So they were like having wine time and stuff like that. I stayed down here. I was like, you have your girl time. Like, I'm going to come down and play video games. But I was up there at one point, she had asked, Danielle's friend was like, I don't know why kids watch Twitch. And I was just like, crack the knuckles, like, okay, so here's why. And then I was just like, it's kind of replaced, like the main point I was making, like, it's kind of replaced like reviews. Like, most people don't really watch reviews for video games for the most part anymore. You'll just watch people play it for 10 minutes and then you'll know if you want it. Like, so that's what
Yeah.
your like, your 6-year-old or 8-year-old or whatever is doing. Like, he's just determining what he wants to play next, and he will come at you like with a list for Christmas. And it's because he's watched all these other people play games.
And it's because he's watched these other streamers have fun and get
Yeah.
good interaction and so on and so forth. So it seems like a community they want to be involved in. Yeah. Yep. That's basically it. Yeah. And then, there's people like us.
100%.
Like, that's actually something that I think has been really interesting because, like, I was on Twitch like day one. Me and my buddy Matt. Yeah, like day one, we learned about Twitch. We're like, let's get on there, let's start streaming stuff. And there was a point, like early Twitch days, because like this world, the Twitchverse was so small back then, right?
Oh yeah.
And so we got on and we were doing House of the Dead Overkill on the Wii. We were playing that, but we were playing the drinking game version back when Twitch didn't really have any community guidelines either. So the idea was like, anytime you shot a civilian, you had to take a shot.
Right.
And then anytime, so we had shots and beer. Anytime you reload your gun, sip of your beer. So you're constantly taking a sip of your beer.
Yeah.
And then the person with the lowest score at the end of the level had to take another shot. We beat the whole game, start to finish, but I do not remember the rest of that night.
Yeah.
But I know that at one point we had about 4,500 viewers.
That's not bad. Like, that's not zero. You know what I mean?
That's not zero.
Pretty
It's
solid.
more than we've ever had as viewers, but it's also because that sphere was so small that people couldn't help but bumble into us, and then they see us.
Yeah.
Nowadays, it's the difference between a drop in a bucket and a drop in the ocean.
Well, it's I mean, at this point, it's just remarkably oversaturated, right? Not in like a bad way. Like, there's a lot of content for people to choose from. It's not necessarily bad, but like getting discovered has its own. There's different issues you run into now. You know what I mean? I would say early days of Twitch, the problem was just like having the hardware to do the thing you wanted to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Now it's like
capture cards were so expensive. Your processor on your computer could barely handle doing both at the same time. Not a lot of people could afford to have two computers to, like run the stream and the game. The hardware requirements back then were vast. But
Absolutely.
Again, as this market has opened up, and it's become more acceptable to people or more accessible.
Yep.
Yeah. Now you've got this wide ocean of content. It's the same thing. It proliferated almost in the exact same way that YouTube did.
Oh yeah.
Right. Which is, it's small, people hear about it here, and then all of a sudden it explodes. And now it is a societal bookmark where everybody knows what Twitch is.
Yeah.
They might not get it, but everybody is familiar with
they know the name, they know the
streaming
brand.
service.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it's just very interesting to see how difficult it is, but the wide variety of things that are available to watch.
Yeah, absolutely.
Everybody can be a star these days.
I can be a star.
Speaking of stars, though,
We already talked about the sun. You got to do something
I already
else.
did talk about the sun, but I think that this lady is going to be the star of her hometown. This chef in Kirkland, Washington. She's run a restaurant there just called Cafe Juanita. It's on the Juanita Creek in Kirkland, Washington.
Yeah.
She had said that she had run her restaurant near this river for over 22 years and has never seen a fish. Never seen a fish in this river in 22 years.
Right.
So she wanted to try and find a way to help restore the riverbed there. She knows it's supposed to be a place for salmon spawning.
Okay.
So she worked in consortship with the King Conservation District and the nonprofit Adopt-A-Stream. And over the course of about 7 years, just due to the time working or the allowed working period on the river,
right.
And about $100,000, they restored the creek bed by the restaurant, and they finished, and they the day they left or finished the job up.
Yeah.
She goes into the restaurant, works for an hour and comes back, and there's 30 salmon.
That's amazing.
Already right there and visible, right at the shoreline.
That's awesome.
It was like somebody flipped a switch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What good timing. They must have been swimming by. They're like, oh shit, look at this place.
Look, guys, look, new restaurant opened up. But the fact that it shows that just like a little bit of conservation work, a little bit of restoration to be able to make a creek bed more habitable for salmon works immediately.
Yeah.
And what it's showing to me, at least in my mind, is that a lot of the private properties that people have along the rivers, they're not maintained properly because they're probably maintained for visibility or
Yep.
curb appeal, essentially, if you will.
Yep.
But if you spend a little bit of time, not only do you get to have a riverfront property, but you're helping the local population of salmon or local population of wildlife at that point. And all that does is increase ecodiversity and increase the quality of life for everything around you.
Yeah.
Like the impacts are visible right away.
It is. It's
Go do it.
honestly, like stuff like that. Like, I mean, not to make myself sound old, but it's going to. Like that stuff has mattered a lot more to me, especially as I've gotten older.
For sure.
You know, I like that stuff. Like I want to help fix a lot of the environment, like in ways that I can. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Even now that the property that we have here and everything, doing what I can to make sure that like I know for a fact I've got like bunnies living under my shed, and like I'm not gonna try to evict them. I am gonna put up something to make sure that like when the dog goes out, because we have to fence in part of our backyard, it's not fully fenced, so he goes out on a tether right now, so there's no risk to the bunnies and the rabbits and stuff. But like, making sure there's a fence so that Everdeen can't get at them. That's my dog. And then like when I start doing like all the planting I want to do, like once spring and summer roll back around for like all the peppers and like all the vegetables I want to grow, like making sure those are up on raised beds. Like I don't want to kick anything out because of like the stuff I want to do. Like I want to live cohesively. This is like
In harmony.
Thank you. That's the word I was looking for.
Yeah. So I that's fully what we do back here. Like I think I showed you a video of my backyard, but you haven't seen it yet. But like we've got kind of like an L around the back of the building here, and we do rent, but we have access to this whole space as ours. And so last summer we tore up everything, re-leveled the backyard, like put in a berm, left a space in the fence so that raccoons and squirrels can get through and get out, because like we live in Guelph. They are a part of life. We might as well make life easier on them, and that means they're not knocking things over for us, right? We leveled it out. We planted clover. So our backyard is not grass, it's clover, with a mix of wildflowers in there that happen naturally due to the ecosystem here in Guelph. We planted a little flower garden that's like manicured and taken care of so that we have, the pretty stuff as well.
Yeah.
And then we have like 6 raised garden beds that like we just harvested the last of the peppers. Pits, you wouldn't believe this. Okay, the plant was damaged because of the frost, but my ghost peppers, there's still almost 24 peppers on there.
That's amazing.
Like if I had have brought the plant inside, I would have been having peppers all the way through the winter.
Yeah. You know what's crazy?
Insane.
I have to go back to my the apartment where I have a bunch of stuff on my balcony, and like the plants themselves are probably in a bad spot right now. That's fine. When I left, remember how I told you I didn't get any of the Carolina Reapers?
Yeah.
There was some fruiting. I have I think 4 or 5. I thought for sure like they had never, like at one point like they flowered, and I thought like that was it, like nothing else was going to happen because I didn't see anything growing. And then like even though the temperatures were getting down like closer to 0 Celsius, we're in Canada, it was like, oh wait, I'm still actually getting
that's what it was
stuff.
happening. What I've learned is that because the Reaper is so high in capsaicin, it requires infinitely more water to be able to produce that, and therefore the gestation period is longer as well. So they're always going to be the last ones, but when they started fruiting, it was boom 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 boom, they're done. Right? They're about a week and a half to 2 weeks behind the Reapers, the ghost peppers, which are about a week and a half behind the habaneros, which are about a week behind the jalapenos. Right? It's all a sliding scale of water necessities based on the amount of heat that's in the pepper. Like, this summer's been fun.
Absolutely.
The other thing we're going to do with the raised beds, or that we have done, is that we've got a bunch of the leaf mulch underneath there.
Okay.
And we've tried, what's the word I'm looking for? Inoculating it with mushroom spores.
Okay.
Because I want to grow some white cap. I want to grow some turkey tail and some dryad saddle,
Right.
because these are all edible mushrooms.
Yep.
And the conditions back here are similar to what they would need in the wild, and I heckin' love mushrooms. I think, like, I love plants. I think mushrooms are the coolest thing on the face of the planet.
Fair.
So I want to be able to grow my own mushrooms and be able to have like that fresh umami flavor when I'm making when I'm making dishes in here. If I can grow mushrooms, man, I'm going to be the most excited person.
Dude, absolutely. And again, like, I think that's one of those things that like almost like hits you as a surprise. I have a cat coming. Come on. Oh, okay. Like I didn't think I was gonna really like or enjoy gardening all that much until I like started doing it and like researching some of it, and it was like, this seems fun. And it's not like something you have to put a ton of time or effort into necessarily.
It's something I'm discovering more and more. Like I'm moving away from video games overall.
Yeah.
Because it's the immediate serotonin injection that, like, as a kid, I'm like, yes, just give me more of that.
Yeah.
But I'm finding more and more that the things that take longer to produce are the things I'm enjoying more. My painting, my writing, RPG writing, gardening, all these things that are taking a longer time have a lower serotonin feedback right away.
Yeah.
But at the end of the year or the end of the project, it's like, oh, wow, I did this. And I think this is what normal people without ADHD feel like. So
yeah, it's definitely one of those things where it's like, microphone, get in there. Yeah, like I don't mind the long play anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just I'll spend more time like investing in something that's gonna really pay off down the road. And yeah, like gardening's absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Get it?
Yeah, it's just finding ways to make my brain understand that it's worth the time to not feel immediately rewarded right now.
Yeah.
Settle down.
Yeah.
You know, it's like putting the bridle on the horse and getting him to settle down. It's like doing that to my brain. It's like, look, it's gonna be good.
Yeah.
Shh, it's okay.
Well, then once you start getting like a bunch of longer projects sort of like lined up almost, then like that's when you'll like they'll start landing and you'll feel that feel good feeling at like the right intervals. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's the thing, is that like, because like my long-term projects are effectively hobbies, and let's be honest, the reason it's
We're good.
the reason it's viable is because of the fact that like I don't have kids, right? So like I've got the free time, but like I've got a painting project I'm working on, and it's no longer, oh, like I need to get it done right now. It's it'll get done a bit by bit, you know. Same with writing. I'm working on a long-term writing project. So let's see what happens there. You know, it's not an end goal. The project is the goal in itself. Right.
Oh yeah.
I don't know.
Look at us being adults.
Wisdom gained with the ripe old age of 36.
I think the only other sort of coming back to our good news segment for a hot second, the only other kind of good news thing that I had, and this is, you know, I guess it's kind of debatable on who this is good news for, technically, is that a bunch of people are dropping Kanye, which after some of the stuff that he like came out and said, definitely I feel personally should be happening.
I mean, we got to eat the yays, really.
Yeah, but like I think like his talent agency dropped him, a bunch of his like sponsorships and like a bunch of companies dropped him. I think Adidas is catching a shit ton of heat for having not dropped him yet. But you know, I was watching a clip from Trevor Noah's show. That's late night, right?
Daily Show.
Daily Show. Thank you. I couldn't think of the name. Like, is it Late Show?
I watch
That's
it
a weird
like
name.
I watch at least his monologue every day.
Yeah, and he was talking about like how he's like legitimately concerned for Kanye, and I think that's like honestly a good way to look at it. Like it seems like something's like, it seems like he needs help.
Yeah,
I don't think
absolutely.
he's, you know, he's never really seemed to be the kind of person that would say that kind of stuff before. Something's going on, you know, and I think he's had a lot of shit go on with his life, and I think when you see that kind of success, you're gonna get fed a lot of misinformation by people who are close to you that won't tell you that you're wrong.
The
You know what I
most
mean?
dangerous people in the world, Pitts, are sycophants
Nice boot.
because they tell you exactly what you want to hear. And yeah, I think that's exactly it. Armchair therapist here.
This one?
I've even got the jacket. No, me. Is that yeah, he's clearly ill.
Yeah.
He is bipolar, is unmedicated, has refused help, and has more money than God, and is surrounded by people that he surrounds himself with that are going to tell him what he wants to hear. We've already seen the kind of danger that can have.
Yeah.
Yeah, the boy needs help.
Yeah. I do hope he gets it, but, hopefully a lot of people, dropping him and things like that sends the right message to him, and that, something's wrong. What you're doing is wrong, and you need to understand that it's wrong. And if you don't understand that it's wrong, you need to talk to somebody who can explain.
The thing is, though, is by the same note, he was on another podcast this week, whose name escapes me at the moment.
Yep.
But he was talking about like Anthony Jeselnik's comedy, right? And I don't know if you're familiar with Anthony Jeselnik.
I am not.
So he is a very dark comedian.
Okay.
Right. His stage persona is that he's like, I don't care how you feel. I'm gonna say the darkest shit. You're gonna find it funny. Like one of the things was like the Boston Marathon. The bombing a couple of years back. He was on Twitter that day making jokes about it. But what he was doing is that he was I can't recall the jokes he made, but he wasn't making fun of the victims. At no point did he make fun of the victims.
Right.
He made fun of the bombers and like the situation and how ridiculous it was. And his manager was like, hey, like, you need to not do this. He goes, I'm not making fun of the victims.
Yeah.
The victims, this isn't for them because they've got victim shit to do. Right? They're busy having their lives taken care of and managed by other people. He's like, I'm here to make fun of the people that would cause this. Right.
Okay.
And make jokes at their expense. And that's the difference, is that he's trying to bring some levity, dark though it may be, to a situation. But Kanye is like, I don't understand why Jeselnik can do it and I can't. But he's missing that Jeselnik is using a stage persona.
Yeah.
It doesn't actually believe most of these things.
Kanye's
Whereas Kanye is like, I want to go DEFCON 3 on Jewish people. Like, yeah, yes, he needs help.
Yes, and I hope he gets it. Truly, I truly do. It's like, I actually kind of liked a lot of his early music. Like, I enjoyed it. It was good stuff to listen to, especially when I was like working on stuff. Like, it was great. I don't want to see him have his,
Yeah. Well, I mean, like Gold Digger was great, and I remember Faster, Better, or Harder, Better, Faster, Stronger was like the first remix of that song that I heard. Yeah. And the video was phenomenal because he did an amazing homage to Akira.
Oh, for sure.
With that video. And I was like, oh, like, I mean, we're going back to me being 21 now, right? Where I was like, this guy's going to be somebody to watch. And I remember by his like third album, I was like, oh. Uh-oh.
Wait a minute.
Something's wrong.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Pump the brakes, homie. Let's pump
because he started talking about himself as like on the same level as Jesus and stuff. And I was like, I don't know. I'm worried.
Yeah.
And here we are in 2022, and he's being dropped by a ton
Which
of
is
sponsors.
crazy. You can't be say the things he's saying. That doesn't make any sense. You've read the Bible? Like, what the fuck, man? Anyway.
I don't know. So I got one last thing for you.
Yep.
Real quick. As of yesterday, 48 hours ago, rather, same-sex marriage has been legalized in all of Mexico's states.
Hell yeah. That's awesome.
Tamaulipas was the last state to legalize it. Basically, back in, I think it was 2015, the Supreme Court had declared state laws preventing same-sex marriage were unconstitutional, but a bunch of the states took several years to adopt laws that conform with that. So that border state was the last one to do it. So now same-sex marriages, that's totally canonized as legal.
That's honestly awesome. And if I'm being honest, a little bit surprising, because I know that a lot of Mexico, unless I'm mistaken, is fairly religious.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And I know you'll see a lot in like the US, a lot of the more religious states are the ones where you get a lot of pushback and fighting against that. So, you know, I don't know how difficult it was for Mexico to go through with that, but shit, dude, good for them. That's awesome to hear.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Well, they said the vote was like 23 in favor of and 12 against. So, like, it's still a 2/3 majority, give or take.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
There was two abstention votes, but overall, a very overwhelming majority. And yeah, like Mexico is a great place for the gays to seem, like to just relax. Like Puerto Vallarta is one of the gayest cities I've ever been in my life.
Is it? Yeah.
Oh yeah. Like
That's awesome.
it's colorful and playful everywhere, and it's like same-sex couples just holding hands everywhere because it's a safe place.
Yeah.
And naturally, there's like music and art museums and all the stereotypical stuff all over the place. But it's a very fun city for that.
That's really cool.
Yeah,
I like that a lot. Nice. Okay. Well, with that happy news out of the way, let's go on to our next segment. So, looking a little bit ahead, what are you looking forward to? One thing I'm going to go first on is I've seen, and this is surprising even me, honestly. I've seen a lot of clips from Black Adam, and I'm actually looking forward to going and watching that. I think I'm going to go try to see that. I think we're going to try to see it this weekend if we can. The hard maybe on that, if not sometime throughout the week. But I want to watch that. I feel like The Rock did some good stuff. And then I don't know if anybody has heard some of the spoilers. I'm gonna throw it. Ray, do you care about a DC spoiler thing?
Nah, not really.
Okay. So spoilers
I'll get to it.
Anybody else who doesn't want to hear this. This does technically, I think, ruin what the after credits is for that movie.
The big guy shows up.
The big guy shows up. So we're gonna say it now. So get out of here if you don't want to be here. But
you got 3.
Henry Cavill. No,
2,
fuck it. I ain't doing it. No, Henry Cavill. But he's back as Superman. And like I was reading, so I saw what he had talked about and what The Rock had talked about as well. And it really seemed like The Rock was the one pushing. Like, no. Like if we're having Superman in this for anything, it's got to be Henry. Yeah. And like they fought to get him back in.
Henry is Superman.
Perfect. He's so
he was always the best Superman. Yeah. Like from day one, I didn't know anything about Henry Cavill before Superman.
Me neither. 100%.
But when he was announced to be Superman, I started researching him.
Yeah.
Because I was like I love Superman.
Yeah.
And I was like, if you're going to play the Superman, the like comic books version of Jesus Christ himself, basically, right? Because Superman is all powerful and he's supposed to represent, the penultimate force of good.
Yeah.
Henry Cavill is squeaky clean and is the god of geeks.
Oh yeah.
Right. And yeah, he brought like that sort of humility to the role, and he's only matured and become better as a human being by having been Superman.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, so I'm in a second, I think.
Yeah. I'm really glad to see him back.
Sorry.
And I know that he has said that he's interested in coming back to play Superman in further movies, but is not interested in the like dark Zack Snyder versions.
Yes.
Because he's like, that's fine, but he's like, Superman is meant to be a beacon of hope and to be joyous. Like, if you ever watch any of the movies, like if you ever watch All-Star Superman, which you've seen that?
Is that the which one is that? The Brainiac one?
No, it's not the Brainiac one. It starts with Lex Luthor trying to basically plant the sun with something. I
don't think I've seen that one. I've watched most of the animated movies though.
Okay, so this is probably my favorite one.
Okay.
Because it deals with Superman facing mortality. And how he goes through that. It's almost like a collection of anthologies.
Okay.
But it's a very, very good movie.
Yeah.
But the whole time, Superman is just this like beacon of humility and temperance and joy at the same time. Like you see the joy he gets by just being.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And how he tries to bring that to his life. I don't know. So just seeing Henry Cavill come back as that, I'm really happy.
Oh.
You trying to give cats directions? You can't do that.
Sometimes they listen. Honestly, I would say my cats listen. Get on my lap. Don't half-ass it. Get over here. Yeah, you're gonna hit. My cats actually listen really well. Like when I go like, hey guys, let's go. Like they'll just like start walking with me. Like they'll just follow me. I don't know. They're good kids.
Yeah. Cat of Whisper.
Yeah, that's I've like Danielle's legitimately said.
Yes.
I don't know. Me and animals get along.
Well, I hope you enjoy Black Adam though. I've heard some unfavorable things, but I'm,
like it's one of those things movie. Where there's like a I don't know, there's a, because it's DC, I don't have extremely high expectations. So I think I'm not going to go into this being like I'm expecting to watch a good movie. Like I'm expecting to watch The Rock, like, I don't know, throw tanks around and shit. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of what I'm going to go and watch.
Well, come on, the preview had him catching a missile, so I mean, like you've got an idea of what you're in for, right?
And it's like, and it's not like that stupid muted colors. It seems like you saw in a lot of the other DC.
No,
movies.
This time it's all sepia toned.
Yeah, I know.
But yeah,
I'll take it over muted.
Agree.
But
like, I actually have a version of Man of Steel that somebody retouched, and what they did is they removed that blue light filter.
Thank God. That was the worst part of that. I hated that song.
Yes, I agree. That whole movie would have been better if you just removed that blue light filter.
Yeah.
Because all the reds came off as almost like purple or blue. And you need that red to pop. I want color. I want like fire truck red. I want comic book red.
Yeah.
You know,
well, that was the thing that like Avengers and stuff did very well is like, you don't need to make it not look like reality. Like make it look like reality. That makes it cooler. It's like, oh, that does look like real life. But then when you like, they show like, Metropolis, is that the city? God, that would took a long time.
Superman, yes,
yeah. Thanks. I need more coffee. Am I out? I'm out. But like they show Metropolis and stuff, like it doesn't look like a real city. Like cities have colors in them, and that was just like all gray. And it's like
all muted. Yeah, it felt more like Gotham. No,
yeah,
but I mean, like you said, Marvel figured it out with that. And then if you look at Guardians of the Galaxy, they went, okay, well, let's take all the colors and crank the dial up to 11.
Yeah,
and have everything be oversaturated.
Yep.
To play up the hyper realism or over realism.
Yeah, like this is
right?
Space. It's like okay, this is, and like you have like the freedom to make things look over the top in space because we don't know what any of that would look like, so it makes perfect sense.
Yeah, DC's still figuring it out, but they'll get there. Yeah. For me, what am I looking forward to? Halloween, baby.
Fair, right? That is in like 2 days.
It is in 2 days. So Shannon and I, we had big grand ideas for costumes this year that we just couldn't make happen.
Sure.
But by virtue of living with 2 goths and having a bunch of additional clothing around and fun accessories, Shannon and I have managed to create some fairly fun Victorian cultist outfits.
Okay.
The idea of the theme we went with was implied threat.
Okay.
Right, where you like, you look at them, you're like, they could be dangerous,
right?
So we went with that. We've got some pretty good costumes. We're going out tonight to a local dive bar called the Underground.
Okay.
This place is like an established landmark in Guelph. It's in the basement of a 200-year-old building, awesome. Right downtown Guelph.
Yeah.
It's a very friendly establishment despite the name and despite the appearance, but like just very friendly, happy place. So we're gonna go sit and have some drinks and do the costume thing. But on Monday, we get to hand out candy, and we take great pride in being the highly decorated house that hands out full bars.
Nice.
So if you're in Guelph with kids, but yeah, we make sure that.
Oh boy, that couldn't have sounded creepier.
That maybe came across bad, but luckily anybody watching it has context, I hope. Yeah, just know that your kids can come get full chocolate bars here. And there's no drugs in them because we can't afford to do that.
Hey, you spent all the money on the full-size chocolate bars.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, because look, kids remember the houses that have full bars, and they remember the houses that are fully decorated.
Oh yeah.
And I love the notion that, because I still remember the houses that had full bars and great decorations from when I was like 8. I could point them out to you. I could drive past them and point them out to you.
Yeah.
Right. So being able to like do that for a kid and like give them a good Halloween memory, Yeah, I love that.
Nice.
So I'm
Nice.
looking forward to Halloween.
Good. Yeah, I think I'm gonna be, because I think the kids are here and Danielle's gonna take them out. Obviously, trick or treating. Our neighborhood has a ton of kids, which is great.
Cool.
Like honestly, you know all of Waterloo, so you know the neighborhood that I'm in. It's solid, and I think I'm probably gonna be on like porch / handing out candy duty, depending on how cold it is outside. So
yeah,
I'm looking forward to that. I think it's gonna be fun.
That's the great thing about my outfit is coat, cape, gloves. Like I'm ready for fall.
Yeah, exactly. The amount of frost that it was on my grass when I went outside this morning to take the dog out, though, not great.
Yeah, because it was like -2 this morning, so that's
why I need to go get my
weather.
plants for my my apartment as well. Is just so I can you know, get them out of there.
Yeah, if they're sitting at the windows, then
keep frosting.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. All right. Getting near to the what do we got? Recommendations. Okay, so I've got a couple things that I recommend.
Okay.
First, what do I want to talk about first? Let's talk about so I've been going back into the past and rewatching some stuff. So we've been rewatching The Newsroom. If you've never seen The Newsroom, I honestly think it's something that you can watch at any time. Like you can always go back and watch it because it already had taken place in the past when they filmed it. So if you don't know what it is, it's Jeff Daniels. So it's already fantastic.
Yes. Okay. Thank you. Yeah. All right. Now I know what it is. Yeah.
And it's just about a people who do the news, but they, instead of doing like, you know, the media sensationalized version of the news, they're like, we're going to do like the actual news for the reason why news should be happening. And it's great. It's a great story. It's funny as hell. It's written by Aaron Sorkin. So like the actual dialogue between characters is, in my opinion, probably my favorite that I've ever seen in any show.
And it's also the first time that like most audiences really got to see Jeff Daniels act.
Oh yeah. And like, and the opening scene for it, honestly, most people have probably seen just through like YouTube videos when he does this whole speech on why America isn't the greatest country in the world anymore. It's great. And there's like more moments that he has like that. So if you like that speech and like that was all good, I would definitely recommend watching it. It's only 3 seasons. I think it was an HBO show, so you can find it on there, or like, you know, go find it all the other ways.
No, I've got it on Crave.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, that's all. Crave has all the HBO stuff in Canada. Yeah. We've been rewatching that, and that's been fantastic, and I love it. The other thing that I've actually taken a dive back into is New World. So for anybody who doesn't know what New World is, it's an MMO. Yeah, it was made by Amazon, and it's been out for about a year. Recently, so in about mid-October, I think it's like the 18th or something, they released their probably one of their biggest updates. So they added a whole new area to the map. But the big thing and what I cared about is that they redid the entire opening. So like levels like 1 through like 35 is all entirely different. I've now finished running through it. It is much better. It is a much better experience.
Progression?
Yeah, the progression's better. Like basically every time you complete a mission, you go up in level. Like they're not like forcing you to stay low level. You know what I mean? Like if you just play, you level up pretty quick. They introduced a new weapon, so I made like I'm playing a tank, so I have the greatsword, which is the new weapon, which is cool. It has stances. There's like an attack stance and a defense stance.
Nice.
And then one other thing that they're releasing, I think in 2 weeks or so, is fresh start servers. So they're going to actually release whole new servers for anybody to make a new character in, and just start over again. I'm going to sneeze again so you can talk.
Yeah. Okay. That's an interesting concept. I don't really do the MMO thing, but it actually leads to one of my recommendations. I have been exposed to a show called Mythic Quest. It's a show created by Charlie Day.
Okay.
And stars the other guy from Always Sunny in Philadelphia, that guy. Anyway, McElhenney or something like that.
Oh, Rob. Yeah, the guy who bought the football club with Ryan Reynolds.
With Ryan Reynolds. Yeah, exactly that. It's like McElhenney or something like that is his name. But anyway, excuse me. The idea is that Rob is the owner of a video game company that makes the MMORPG Mythic Quest, the most popular MMO ever. And it is basically the misadventures of game development through that. It's the thing is, it's kind of like Always Sunny in that none of the characters are likable.
Okay.
And I initially have a hard time with. Oh, Danny Pudi's in it as well.
Oh, really? Nice.
Yeah, and I mean, I've continued watching it mostly for him, because I have a hard time getting into shows where none of the characters feel likable.
Yeah.
But it took me about 5 episodes to realize that it's not just about the comedy of people being in development and being horrible. It's actually a scathing parody of the game industry.
Yep.
Right, like it's a scathing look at like the way women are underpaid, or that developers are taken advantage of and put into crunch time, the sort of toxic masculinity that's in those areas. So once I realized what I was actually watching, then it got fun. So that's been pretty enjoyable. I've also checked out Severance, which I would highly recommend, which stars Adam Scott, who you would probably know from Parks and Rec, or from Step Brothers. He's the Will Ferrell's asshole brother in that.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So it stars him, as well as Jonathan Turturro and Christopher Walken. And the idea is that there is a process known as severance that people can go through where they essentially separate your consciousness into work you and casual time you. So the idea is like you and me, we go to work for 8 hours a day and we kind of have to slog through it. But wouldn't it be great if you just woke up in the morning, went to work, and then all of a sudden you're back to your free time?
Oh,
so you step into the building, whoomp. Now you're your innie, as they call them.
Okay.
You're this version of Pitts that works in this office.
Yeah.
And you do strange and mysterious but rewarding work in the basement of this building. And then you leave and you snap back to you and you live your life. The main character, played by Adam Scott, has a reason why he wants to do this or has done this.
Yep.
And then the things start to present themselves as a mystery, and it's him trying to understand what's happening with his innie versus his outie and all of the sort of ethical issues surrounding that.
Yeah. Okay.
It is exciting. It is very engaging, very funny, and the shock of the year, my shock of 2022.
Yeah.
It is directed by and executively produced by
Ben Stiller.
Ben Stiller.
Yeah, I just saw that. I pulled it up and I was looking at it. I was like, Ben Stiller, what? Oh.
Yeah, I was legitimately floored, not even metaphorically. I think I fell off my chair because I couldn't believe that Ben Stiller has presented something like this. I know that most comedians do have, like the ability to access their dark side kind of thing, but I've never really seen Ben Stiller do anything that wasn't schlocky comedy.
Oh, for sure. This is awesome.
Yeah.
Good for him.
Yeah, it's very, very good.
All right.
There's one season, and by the end of the first season, I was like, please give me another one.
Yeah, it looks like it was an Apple TV Plus thing, right?
It is, yeah.
Yeah. Which means I actually have access to it.
Yeah, it's absolutely worthwhile. I think there's 9 episodes at about 45 minutes a piece. You can chew through it in a day.
Okay. Do you know if it's already been approved for another season?
It has.
Oh, yes. Yeah, it has. Yeah, in April.
Yeah.
Series was renewed for 2nd season. Nice. Those are good actors and everything, too. One of the things I was going to say is that kind of reminds me a little bit of like Dollhouse. And then I was looking through the cast, and one of the girls from Dollhouse is in this. So
yes, she is.
Figure that out. Yeah. I forget who
Echo.
she played. No, Echo wasn't Echo the main girl?
Sorry, Echo was the main girl. She was Delta.
Delta. Yeah.
Well, so that actor, she's also the same one who played the main antagonist of Takeshi Kovacs in Altered Carbon.
Altered Carbon, yeah. I was like, I've seen her in something else too. What is it? And that was exactly it.
Always dangerous in everything she's in.
Yep.
And yeah, I love that about her. Because I actually only watched Dollhouse this year.
Oh, really?
Yeah, when it came out, for whatever reason, the concept didn't appeal to me.
Fair.
Now I think it's, unfortunate that it's got him all over it. What's his name? Oh my gosh, Whedon.
Yeah.
Sorry. He just Whedon's everywhere, but that's fine. I can separate the work from the person.
Yep. Oh, that's fair. Yeah. Man, that guy used to be. Well, I guess he was never. didn't know better.
We just didn't know better. Exactly that. We were told he was cool.
Yep.
That's okay.
Yes, that's okay. This is a happy show for happy
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah. I guess the one last thing is just not so much a recommendation, but something I'm proud of.
Yeah.
You know what? Every day this week, Pitts, I have been writing and painting.
Nice. That's awesome,
And
dude.
I'm happy with that.
Good.
Progress by inches, but
Yeah. Well, that's what you got to do, right? Like it's incremental progress. It's good stuff. Long
plus one
game.
equals done.
All
It's
about the long game.
That's it. Gotta think about chess.
Yeah. One other thing I do want to mention too that I'm looking forward to that we didn't talk about, D&D on Thursday. Because you guys are in the midst of a pretty interesting fight. And
Oh yeah, aren't we
Silas
just?
got dropped by his grandpaps. So
Sure did.
Yeah.
Sure did. Oh god, I was so annoyed with that.
but like I definitely understand why it's frustrating, and then I got like a really good roll, but I really did think that you played that exactly how Silas, like, he'd be upset, you know what I mean? He'd be like, fuck this, like, you piece of human garbage, you're getting shanked now.
You have attacked my home.
Yeah.
You have been holding my mother captive. Wow.
Captured
I need
it.
that coffee. You've injured my father, and now I'm going to hurt you with your own sword.
No, like,
so
and
that you come listen.
it sucks the way the dice rolled, but
Yeah.
I again, like, I really think that you played it in the right way, especially because Silas, like, with the way he is right now, he kind of has that hot-headedness.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? It was perfect. Again, it sucks that you got dropped so quick, but it's like from a story perspective, yes, that is what would have happened.
Yeah,
Right?
it works out. I was definitely frustrated. Like I know I know I didn't have my poker face on last Thursday. Excuse me one sec.
No worries, we're all dying now.
It's how we were talking about the lower octaves that our voices are at in the morning.
Oh, now it's starting to clear up.
It's starting to clear out.
Yeah.
I'm sure you can hear that there's a little bit of treble in my voice now. But yeah, I was frustrated initially because again I get into a fight and again I go down. It's like every fight we have, Silas is going down, and that, like, from a gameplay perspective, it's like, oh, god damn it, again. Okay, but it's also really informing how Silas is going to start approaching things,
For sure.
because you can't live if you're going to keep being hot-headed.
Yeah.
So he's learned some lessons.
Yeah. Well, and that's I think that's all, it's all going to be part of the story and part of the journey for him, right? And I'm excited to see how, as a character, he's going to grow from that. You know what I mean? And then potentially how everybody else is going to as well. Because, there's a lot of people obviously in your party that care about you and your well-being, and while they may get frustrated to see you go down, they're also going to be like, okay, well, how do we make sure he doesn't do that? Like, somebody wants to get like face to face with whatever our threat is. What are we going to do? Right? You have like a really strong support character in Zelnith, and you have a lot of people who can go up there and help you out in the front lines, like Grub. So there's going to be a lot that I think goes on.
Well, I think what happens is that perhaps over time Silas is going to become more cautious and is not going to see himself as the front line, against everything. Because I like the progression, because initially, we had the arena fight.
Yep.
And he wins handedly, and he's like, yes, I am top shit.
Yeah.
Right. Look at me. I'm the champion.
Yeah.
And then just repeatedly beat down over time. Like, okay.
Yeah, his ego's taken a few pretty solid hits for sure.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see how that all plays out.
Yeah.
I don't have an end game for Silas in mind, but like when I write characters, I create who they are, what they've been through, and their issue, and maybe like a long-term goal, but like beyond that, I'm like, let's just see where the character goes.
Well, and that's exactly it, right? Like, you kind of need to know how the character is going to act and react to certain situations so that you can determine what the short-term goal is, given the narrative that you have set up. But I always think that having like that long-term goal in mind is also important, because it's going to dictate, when somebody like Grub's like, let's go to Monster Island. It's like, is that fulfilling everybody's goals? Like, that's absolutely yours. And, you know, we've done a thing for me. We can do a thing for you. But at the end of the day, what do we want to try to get to overall? Right.
Yeah.
And I think that's all going to play a pretty cool part in it.
Yeah, and I think that there's multiple opportunities. Like, it's really interesting as a GM to like throw the red herrings out,
Yeah.
but then your players take to them, and you're like, well, instead of it being a red herring, let's find a way to make this part of the story.
Yeah.
You know, it's interesting to have a story that you want to tell, but also have it be mutable in such a way that the story changes and reacts to the players.
Yeah.
It's been a very interesting experience.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, and you know, I'm excited for like some of the story stuff that I have set up. Excited for you guys to, you know, get more into that, and then have it grow and see where it goes from there. So
Yeah, it is kind of tough though to find the balance between like the DM's overarching story. Like, you want to tell a sweeping narrative, you know,
Sure.
or like have a focused story, something that you're trying to tell, but it's so hard to ride the line between having a thing you want to tell, but also not shoehorning
for
the
sure.
characters down that path.
Yeah.
Right.
I think I got pretty lucky in like with the whole campaign with the stalemates.
Mhm.
I learned, you know, within 20 episodes that, like, you know, I don't want to block you guys from doing the stuff that you guys want to do with your characters. And I learned very early on that whatever I think you're going to do whenever I try to plan and write for isn't really going to be what's going to happen. You know, you guys will,
Yeah.
you'll touch on some of it and you'll tickle some of it and whatever. But it's not going to, I can't count on that to be a consistent thing, which isn't bad, right? It's
No.
just something I always had to like keep in mind. Is like, okay, I'm going to write like a lot of very loose things. And then once I kind of see what direction you're going, it's like, okay, so this is kind of probably the portion of the narrative that like I'm going to build out further, right? Like, I have a bunch of threads, and once I see you guys kind of grab one, it's like, okay, now I have some more stuff that I can build out around that. It's like, this is going to sound really weird, but you know the game Horizon Zero Dawn?
Yep.
Beautiful looking game, came out on the PS4. One of the things that they had to make sure of was that if they were going to make that game that beautiful, they couldn't overload the processors on the PS4. What they have is the game loads what you can see.
Mhm.
Anything to the sides where your camera isn't facing isn't there.
Yeah.
And it loads
And then it
as
snap
it's going.
loads.
Exactly. And you gotta like, I treat my campaigns the same way because I kind of have to. Like,
Mhm.
I will have a lot of stuff planned for what I know you guys are going towards, at least. You know, it's like episode 1. I know that I'm gonna have a city. I'm gonna have an encounter for you guys, so you guys get, you know, in episode 1, get to try out your characters, that kind of stuff. And then from there, I need to see what you're gonna do before I start loading the rest.
Yeah.
I'll have all these like loose footnotes for like things that I think I kind of want to touch on throughout the world and the universe. But if you guys don't want any of that shit, then I'm like, okay, well, throw it in the garbage. Let's go. We're going
Yeah.
somewhere else now.
Yeah, what I tend to do is I write in like concentric circles,
Mhm.
right? So I go, okay, here are the players, and here's the theme. Okay, those are two circles that are mutually exclusive at the moment, but we need to make them, you know, create a Venn diagram of that,
Yeah.
right? So then I go, okay, well, there's this aspect. So like these characters, what's going on with the corporation that's sponsoring this event?
Right.
Okay, so what is the goal there? Okay, well, what's their conflict? Okay, over here, how does that relate to this conflict? And I just keep doing the concentric circles at that like 10,000 foot view,
Yeah. Yeah.
and just as long as there is a person, place, in a situation, then I leave it alone.
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, whatever you guys bump into, let's see how it reacts. Let's see what works. It's almost like creating a computer simulation
Yeah.
and just having all those parts like on pause, like you said, unloaded until the characters turn the camera to look at them.
Yeah.
And then we'll work with that, you know? So it's very, very interesting to see, because like I might write a big sweeping storyline for the character that I see to be the main rival or something like that.
Sure.
But they might turn to faceless NPC number 3
Yeah. Be
and
like,
be
you're my
very
favorite
interested
now.
in his story. Yeah. I'm like,
Why?
really? Okay, I guess I'll write a backstory.
I made this
you
guy
know?
like one eye just because I thought it was kind of neat. I didn't think you were gonna ask him about it. Fuck. Okay. It was a spearfishing accident.
Yeah, exactly. You know, all these things, and then okay, well, let's go and sit and write a backstory for that and make that make sense, and let's
Yeah.
cram that in there somewhere. And now there's another concentric circle.
Yeah. Yeah,
You
and you
know,
just got to
so
make sure it all connects. And then like, and it's, you know, one of the things that we had talked about a long time ago too, is it's like, I make a bunch of things and then I sit back. Because it's like, I want them to go like wherever like if you guys wanted to instead have gone like straight for Monster Island, like, all right, I'll build out Monster Island. Right now I know like the base parts, but until you guys go there, I'm not going to like do a
spend time
ton
on that.
with it. It's like, well,
Yeah.
that's kind of a waste of time. Something
Well,
I even like
because-
picked up off of like Matt Mercer and stuff. Even he talks about it in his stuff. He's like, once I realized you guys were doing this, like, you know, I had two options for what you were going to do. Once you picked one, then I built it out. Like, even these people who make these giant, incredible worlds that people can now like play in because he released all these books for, like, even he doesn't go through and go like, okay, here's
No.
absolutely everything for everybody. Like, well,
Yeah.
fuck, no, like, I don't need that.
Yeah, well, so and that's kind of the thing. Like, in this most recent episode of Cyberpunk,
Yeah.
you know, the only goal I set in front of them is you need to go get a new radiator.
Yeah.
That's it. I was like, I'll see what happens. I know a bunch of places where they can get these things, but I'm not going to bother until they go and tell me where they want. And so they were like, well, what about a junkyard? I was like, cool. Yep, I've got it. We can go to a junkyard. You're going to go to Big Mike's Salvage and Storage.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
brought to you by Arasaka Corporation. You know, or if they could have gone and stole it from somebody else. It's like, okay, who do you want to go steal it from? Okay, cool. Here's some things. And it's being able to mute or do that on the fly.
Yeah.
Now, of course, a lot of that comes from knowing the rules, but I'm learning more and more that it's about just being able to adapt and not trying to like,
Yeah.
Go there, just go that way.
Yeah.
No,
Well, and that's the thing. Like for me, like the biggest thing I had to realize at some point, I think I realized this during the stalemates, is like it's really not my campaign. It's your guys. Like
Yes.
I want to build a playground for you guys that has the stuff that all of you like. That's why, like, you know, there's been times where like people have come to me and they've been like, hey, I didn't include this originally, but like, can we like tweak something here? I'm like, yeah, I don't give a shit. Like, sure, let's do it. What do you need me to make for you? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
let's talk about this. Let's workshop it. Like, we'll figure out a way to get that in there. Like, none of this is like set in stone. These people aren't real. This entire thing is fake. I can
Yeah.
change anything.
I used to be very rigid. I was like, no, your character is set. This is
Yeah.
the character you've chosen. But you know, people don't just change like that. I'm like, I gotta relax. It's the game.
Yeah.
You know, that's why like I started getting better at Through the Breach, but realized that is a game that we do not stream. It's too convoluted.
Yeah, there's
Like,
a lot of stuff in that for
A
sure.
lot of moving parts in there.
Yeah.
Where Cyberpunk is just very, very brisk and fun.
Yeah.
And again, the rules are so simple that I could run an entire game off the cuff.
Perfect.
Yeah, I can roll a couple charts and have a reasonable game. you
Yeah.
know? But yeah, it's getting to the point where you're comfortable enough to be able to adapt and change and overcome.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
That actually is gonna be a very good segue, that entire conversation, into the last thing I want to talk about before we probably sign off here.
Mhm.
Is there's a new, for anybody who's watching now or listening now or watching later or listening later. In case you don't know, we do have our Extra Life stream happening from November 11th to November 12th. So it's going to be, I think I said November. I didn't. In my head, I thought I said September. Anyway, it's 24-hour stream from November the 11th to the 12th. And generally speaking, if you've seen our Extra Life streams before, we usually play something called Hot Wheels, which is we eat very spicy things and we play Mario Kart. This year, during one of our brainstorming sessions, we came up with an idea that I think is going to be ludicrous and fun.
Who
and
is a
like,
rapper?
Luda. Yep. Yeah. But we're going to play something called, the working title currently is Spicy Dice. So we're going to basically do the same kind of thing where we eat a lot of ridiculously hot pieces of food, most likely chicken. Aaron has requested popcorn chicken because the nuggets are too big, which is fine. But we're going to be doing it during a D&D one shot that is going to be spice based, and we have a lot of rules that are in the works about when to eat certain things. natural ones, eating spicy things to automatically gain a success on something or gain an item when shopping, a whole bunch of stuff. And I have the entire season 19 lineup of hot sauces from Hot Ones and Heatonist. So it is going to be ridiculous. I
am inordinately excited about that. Yeah. I already have a character concept in mind.
Nice.
Like from the moment you guys, like when I typed that in all caps in the chat, that wasn't a joke. That's what is going to happen. Because not to brag, but I am the champion of spice. 2 years in a row now, I have reacted better than anybody else.
Yeah.
I don't win Mario Kart because you always beat me by like 1 or 2 points.
Yeah, I get enough points early on where by the end I don't need to win.
But I feel like I get the moral victory.
Fair.
Because while you fools are running around the house, I'm just hiccuping playing Mario Kart.
Yeah, I would love to say no, it's not that bad, but it is. It's that bad. It's awful.
It's bad. It's terrible.
Yeah, it hurts. It's real bad.
I
think you do the best. Aaron does the worst, and I'm somewhere in the middle. Sometimes with Brickley when he takes place.
It's Aaron and Brickley like this.
Yeah, but Aaron's long-term negative effects, which I won't go into because it's disgusting on stream. He I think he gets the worst end.
End being the appropriate noun there.
So
I am looking forward to that. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I have run something similar in that I used to run what was called Food Machine for the miniatures game War Machine.
Okay.
And the idea was that it was a food drive. So you would come in and with like whatever dried goods, non-perishable items, so on and so forth. But you could pay to cheat various aspects of the game where you're like, oh, I didn't like the result of those dice, so I'm going to donate a can to reroll those dice. Okay, didn't like that one either. Here's another can.
Yeah.
Okay, that's better. Or to the point where it was like progressively more expensive things to the point where it was like, take a unit from another faction and count it as a friendly unit, which is extraordinarily powerful and breaks the game.
Yeah.
But who cares?
Oh, yeah.
But who cares? You're playing for fun and you're donating to a food drive. So I'm very familiar with the idea of cheating within a certain set of rules to modify the game.
Right.
So now we're just adding pain into the mix, and I think that's fantastic.
I think it's gonna be fun. Honestly, weirdly enough, the part I'm most looking forward to is when we've all hit like Da Bomb and up, us trying to role play. I think that's gonna be really funny and stupid.
Yes.
Because it's gonna be a lot of like, you talk, I can't. You know what I mean? With like tears streaming down our face. Yeah, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be a good time.
Yeah.
So, and it's all for a good cause.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, the good cause part is absolutely the most important.
It is the most important.
And it's why I agree to do this, because last year was the first time that I've ever actually been in like serious intestinal pain afterwards and thought, oh, I don't know if I can do this.
Yeah.
It's like, I like to eat spicy food, like sriracha at the least, and Frank's Red Hot at the bare minimum on almost everything.
Yeah.
But I don't get pain from it. And last year was painful.
And now we have Da Bomb and Apollo. So.
Oh my God, I'm so worried about Apollo.
Yeah, because it's a crossbred pepper that we've never had before, right?
Yeah.
Oh God.
It's that new hottest pepper, whatever they're calling it, but it's.
I think it's the Apollo pepper. So originally there was Pepper X, and then they made the Apollo pepper. So.
Yeah, there was another pepper I thought had a different name, but you're right, it's the Apollo pepper. Yeah, so. Yep, looking forward to that. It's going to clear my sinuses and everything else in between.
Yep. So if anybody, again, like keep an eye on our social medias and stuff like that, because that's where we're going to be announcing a lot of our scheduling and everything. Oh God, I'm getting nervous. I'm getting hot sweats.
Yeah.
But
Sweaty
I think
palms already.
As for today, I think that's everything we have. Unless you have anything else you want to go over, Ray, before we go.
No.
All right, we're good. Okay, well then I just want to say thank you everybody for coming out on this lovely morning. Again, we'll be back. We're the casual ones. We stream on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. That's today. Holy God. So next Tuesday, another thing I should talk about is we're going to be doing our first episode of Snowcatch Valley, where we're going to be picking up in 1 year after our original campaign. If you want to see the original campaign, it is on our YouTube. It's basically it's a campaign that takes place in the 90s with 4 college friends who come across some weird stuff happening in their town. This picks up 1 year later. Everyone's a little bit older, a little bit wiser, but probably not that much. And we're going to be going through some spooky fall/Halloween themed stuff, if I'm not mistaken. And then Thursday, we will be back with our regular Punch Drunk Champions Dungeons and Dragons campaign, which is run by me. And then we'll see everybody next Saturday for the Casual Morning Show. The last thing I almost forgot to talk about. Oh my God, we have so much stuff going on. Tomorrow in the evening, we're going to be doing a spooky stream that I think people are going to enjoy a lot because we're going to be playing some Phasmophobia. It's our monthly Extra Life thing, which we're getting just at the end of October, so good job us. But it's going to be, I believe, Jardine, Rowan, who are like 2 people who will not be very scared, and then me and Aaron, who are babies when it comes to this kind of stuff.
I can't wait to watch this. Like, I couldn't free up the time to be able to actually like play.
Yeah.
But I'm going to be able to have the video playing like while I'm doing what I am. And I can't wait to just watch you guys be yourselves.
Going to be interesting. It's going to be like mainly from my point of view as well. So you'll see me freaking out a bunch, I'm sure, because I'm going to do it in the full dark because I'm an idiot. But
in a new house.
In a new house that was built in 1916. So that's not creepy and old in any way.
Hey, Pitts.
Yo.
Somebody has definitely died in your house.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Gotta. Absolutely. Yeah. And maybe after tomorrow there'll be 2.
There we go.
I'm not gonna die. But yeah, if you wanna come by and watch some spoopy stuff, kind of Halloween themed, come by tomorrow evening. I think we're starting at about 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, but keep an eye on our social medias because we will announce it with absolute certainty there. With that, and all those things that are coming up, I just want to say once again, thank you everybody. Have yourselves a fantastic weekend, and we will talk to you again.
See you. Happy Saturday.
Bye everybody.
Bye.